across some solid points for Nico, but I think you expected more from that, didn't you?
We knew we had a little bit of, let's say, vulnerability on high fuel. So I think we have to think again about how we approach the priorities over a weekend, because when we got into the race, we started blistering rear tyres, which we hadn't seen in practice. So that's why we fell away so quickly. And as the fuel load came down, and that problem went away and the pace picked up, and then we started to get respectable again.
Okay, so had you not run that fuel level in practice, or had something changed out there?
No, we had, but obviously with a shortened practice with the rain, and we'd run Friday afternoon with high fuel, but we hadn't seen that problem. But I think what's clear in this racing is that qualifying is probably the least critical thing now, and having a good race setup with the correct number of tyres is actually the most important thing.
Yes, indeed, because you'd saved tyres and that actually didn't help you.
Well, it did. I think that's what recovered Nico. I mean, the new set of options where he put on near the end is where he climbed his way back up through the field and actually got a respectable position.
Okay, and just a final quick thought on Michael. Does he also, maybe, do you need to tell him that he doesn't have to try it all on the first lap? He can wait, because as we've seen, there is so much opportunity.
Yeah, we'll look at the race and see. It was unfortunate because, again, he seemed to have less trouble with the tyres in the race, but was often caught up in a lot of traffic. So a lot to learn from this weekend.
Thanks, Ross.
This time last year at this very circuit, it wasn't the result you wanted. Your two cars getting too close on track. Does that put to bed 12 months ago, do you think?
You know, it was a really sweet result today. I mean, especially after last year, the problems that we had, and you know, to come back to have a really dominant race with Sebastian, a fantastic race with Mark. You know, very strategic, plenty of pit stops, a real team race today. I mean, the guys in the pit lane were phenomenal, and you know, really rewarding to get a 1-2.
Christian, you mentioned the word dominant. Not us, but we will do so as well, if you don't mind, because, I mean, it's just now becoming to the point of who is actually going to step up and beat you.
Well, you can never underestimate the opposition. I mean, McLaren were, you know, very, very strong. You know, the last couple of races, they weren't, you know, right there today. Mercedes looked very strong yesterday, and Ferrari, as you can see, they're back and pushed us really hard today with Fernando. They're very soft on the tyres. They make them go very, you know, a long way, and I think it's going to change. I think there's a long way to go in this championship, and it's important that we capitalise on days like today.
Who made the decision on the fourth set of tyres for Sebastian?
It's a team thing, so I mean
but somebody must have come out and said...
Ultimately, a final call goes up the chain, and somebody has to make a decision, and you know, I guess
who was that?
I guess you're looking at him. But,
Come on, who was it? It was Chris. Was it the driver?
So you know, there's a lot of discussion between, you know, with the support from the factory that we have, and it's a great, it's a team performance, and you know, the drivers contribute, the engineers, you know, Adrian leads so fantastically well, and it's all about the team. It's not about individuals.
Well, Jensen, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but were you on the wrong strategy today?
Yes, in some way. I think most people were probably on my strategy initially, but because most of them damaged their tyres in the first stint, they changed their strategy. So, yeah, we didn't, and yeah, we didn't leave the stops late enough. I mean, the tyres were good, you know, at the end of every stop, but we came in. So yeah, we should have stayed out for longer, because it made the last stint just impossible, having so many laps on the hard time.
Starting to look inevitable when Rosberg was coming towards you. I mean, what does that feel like from your seat?
Oh, well, you're not racing anymore. You know, you're trying your best to get the best out of the car, but you're not racing anyone around you, because you are a sitting duck. It's unbelievable, the difference in speed, because they can get a good run out of turn 10 with curves and everything, and good grip. They just come past you, and you can't do anything. So
The start of this year's Grand Prix looked a little like the end of last year's Grand Prix, with you and Lewis battling so hard. Were you surprised how hard you were both racing?
No, not at all. I mean, we didn't touch, I don't think, but yeah, it was good fun, and it's a pity to finish so far back after everything in the first stint seemed to be good. But I think strategy-wise, yeah, something we did wrong.
Lewis, was it a tale of two pit stops? You had that great one that got you out in front of Massa, and then sadly the longer one at the end.
Yeah, it was just one of those races. I think, you know, of course, the pit stops is somewhere where we can always improve. But I think I really lost quite a lot of ground at the beginning of the race when I tried to go down the outside of Webber. I had such great pace, and in actual fact, I had too much front wing in the car to start off with. So that is one of the reasons you struggle to look after the rear tyres. It's better to drive a car with more understeer, and I had a bit too much front end. And obviously trying to get past Jensen, I had so much pace at the time. Once I did get past him, my tyres were finished, so that forced me into a 4-stop, or I don't even know how many stops did I do. 4 stops, and yeah. But I think we did a pretty good job considering we had a bad pit stop as well. I think we did a pretty good job to get back up to 4th.
Most of the guys did 4 stops, Jensen did 3. That seemed to be the right strategy. Just tell us also about the battle that you had with your teammate at the beginning of the race. It was reminiscent of the end of last year's Turkish Grand Prix. We were all getting nervous. How are you feeling?
Oh, well, I wasn't nervous. I was probably at the time relatively frustrated that I'd lost position. You know, I had a good start. I should have really been up to 3rd at the beginning of the race, and I could have been battling for 2nd in this race, but we came out with 4th in the end. So, but the battle was good. Jensen was fair as always, and we'll keep our head up, look forward to the next race.
Mark, with all the trading of positions that went on, are you happy with getting back onto the 2nd spot of the podium?
Yeah, it was a relief. I think difference between 3rd and 2nd today was quite big in terms of executing a clean race off the front row. I mean, to finish 3rd, 18th on the grid the last race, and to finish 3rd on the 2nd on the grid wouldn't have been ideal. So in the end, a good fight with Fernando. Made a little bit heavy weather of it in the middle part of the race on the options. Obviously, the race that Fernando and I had opened up when obviously Seb got the buffer with Nico, and then the team pitted me quite earlier than I expected, because obviously they were worried about then the undercuts coming into play, because there was a gap outside where we could come back into. So clearly Ferrari and us guys were looking at the same gap. So at that point you make your bed that you're going to have quite a few stops in the day, because you're going to spread the rest of the race. So that's the way it was. We passed each other twice, and yeah, Seb just had that nice, you know, it's like squash standing on the tee. You can just dictate the race a little bit with your pit stops and stuff. So nice advantage to have, and you know, it's a good victory for him. And Fernando drove well. And that was it.
Tell us about the start as well. Was that just getting bogged down on the dirty side?
Yeah, have a look at it obviously tonight and see what the guys say. See how the grip goes, but just did what you normally do, and the guys got away well. So that's what happened. So.
Did you leave Istanbul happy?
I do actually, yeah. I think it was it's my best result of the year. We're going 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. So we're coming, hopefully.
Sebastian, well done. Whilst everybody else was trading positions behind you, you seemed to be having quite a nice, calm, lights to flag victory. Is that what it felt like?
Yeah, I think today obviously everything went right, and after giving my team and the mechanics a hard time on Friday and a lot of work, it was you know, the right answer on Saturday and today. So I'm sure, you know, they if you can give a, you know, victory back, I'm sure I can't say they don't mind, but I would say they get over it. So you know, it was crucial. Saturday morning I walked in and everyone gave me the impression that nothing is wrong, all back to normal, and nothing to worry about. So obviously this helps, you know, the people working on my car, but the whole team, you know, was working hard to get my car back together. And it is important because these people are close to me, and you know, it kind of reflects if they are, you know, not happy or sad, or, you know, you can see that it's too much work and they're just tired and they're not motivated. I think it reflects to me and the other way around. So it was good, you know, that maybe after being a bit down on Friday, they put me or got me back up.
And today in the race, when you came in for that final pit stop, was that just, it must be a nice feeling to be able to do that if you need to, that you've built up that lead?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, I think it was important. We had a very good start, and then the first stint we were able to get a gap, and really could always benefit from that cushion. So we could afford to run a lap longer, a lap or maybe 2 laps longer, even though the pace was worse because our tires were old. But you know, to waste these 2-3 seconds of race time, but then having a fresher set, which helped to give an answer for the next stint. And in the end, obviously, you know, I did 6 laps, pit again, and another 10. So it was very short runs. Yeah, I think the right thing to do. Imagine the safety car comes out, you need to have the tire to respond and to answer. So all in all, it was very seamless today.
I'm sure you'll tell me it's too early to think about it, but but it must be nice to have that little boost at the top of the championship. You're building up a nice lead.
Yeah, of course it's nice, you know. Judging what we have done so far, we can be very happy, but we cannot judge what will come up next. So we have to, you know, keep exactly doing what we are doing now, go step by step and try to race every race and see it as its own, and try to get the maximum out of the car. There will be, you know, days where we will get beaten for sure, but then it's about minimizing the loss. So today I think, you know, all these things are too far away. We can be very happy. We finished first and second. Great result for the team, so can't be much better, I guess.
Nico, how would you sum up that race from where you were sitting?
Exciting for one, a bit of a chaos too, because I didn't really know what was going on anymore, where I was on strategy, and I was really disappointed in the beginning, but then in the end I was still with the McLarens, you know, and past Jensen, and so okay, it's not too bad. And in general, we have to say that it was a positive weekend for us because we're moving up, getting stronger, progressing, and you know, we know where we can improve still. We haven't really put any massive upgrades on the car yet, so things will start improving now with new parts and new ideas, and now we understand very clearly that we need to work on the race because qualifying is looking better and better, but still struggling a little bit in the race. So that's important to have learned that today also. So in general, it's got to be positive.
There was that sort of quiet time in the middle of the race when you went on to the hard tyres. At that stage of the race, can you work out in your mind that you're going to soon be passing Jensen Button towards the end of the race?
No, not at all. Definitely not. And I don't know, I have to speak to the team to see if it's possible to make things a bit clearer for me in my head, because it's so difficult to understand when you're out there. And I was so disappointed. I thought I would, you know, at one point I just saw myself going backwards and the Renaults started arriving. I started getting pressure from Renault, and so I was like, okay, this is terrible. I'm so slow. But then in the end, it was still okay. So it was just a strategy. And I think again on strategy, I'm sure they did a really good job to get me, to keep me all the way up there. And in the end come back and pass Jensen and things like that. So I think it was everybody did the best possible job this weekend, and so it's okay.
Felipe, a frustrating day for you today?
Yeah, frustrating in a way that, well, the start was good. I passed some cars on the track. And then when I stopped in the right time, you know, in the good position as well, but then pit stop was low, so I had a problem, and then I went out behind Lewis, which I was just in front of him on the stop. And then in the third pit stop as well, we had a problem, so I lost position, and I go out of the pits, and then I went to the dirty side on turn 8. It was completely dirty, so I carry on straight, otherwise it would have been possible to spin off. So, and then I lost again positions, and then the last pit stop again we had a problem. So anyway, everything happens in the race. The positive thing is that the car was I would say competitive on the pace, and I think this can be a positive thing for Barcelona.